Well, the oil markets hit a 5-year low today. And again, with crude prices on a steady downward trend since late July, it's been one milestone after another. And it's already made millions of Americans happier about fueling up their cars. So how else will travelers benefit? Gabe Saglie is senior editor at Travelzoo, joins us now with more on what consumers can expect for the new year. Gabe, good to see you here in the studio. Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure.
Wow, these oil prices took a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah.
So are people hitting the roads? Are they driving more?
I think that the road trip is going to make a big comeback in 2015. With the prices as low as they are at the gas pump, I think people are inspired to actually look at taking on the roads. I think the bus industry, Megabus, Greyhound, could become certainly a much more viable alternative to people. And the drivable markets throughout places like the Northeast, the Midwest, the West Coast could actually see a nice little bump in travel as we head into 2015.
Okay, so we're going into 2015 with oil prices being, I imagine, with labor costs, the biggest cost of the travel industry and moving people around.
Yeah.
So what is your forecast going into the first quarter?
Well, the biggest thing is that the airlines really don't have a huge incentive to lower their
They
fares.
certainly don't. I mean, they're going to argue that, look, we lose money all the time. Let us make a little bit of money now, and people are packed and still flying. So
demand is high.
Demand is high.
We're not willing to really circumvent traveling. I mean, I walked here through Times Square. I don't think it's been as packed as I saw it this afternoon. I mean, people are literally, boosting numbers for travelers across the board in ways we've not seen in a long time. So, 85 to 90% load factors on airplanes. The fact of the matter is, fuel accounts for about 35% of operating costs for the airlines. There's a lot of reinvestment going on now. The airlines are in a bit of a shopping spree. They've ordered 10,000 aircraft in the last 5 years from Airbus and Boeing. So there is money going back into the system. I think generally, we'll benefit in the way of cushier economy class seats and so on.
I don't know if we're getting cushier economy class seats. That's a nice thing to think.
Well, but I think that a lot of these cabins are being reinvented. I mean, I flew here and
with better seats. They're spending, one airline, Lufthansa, I think, spent $6 billion on making a new seat. When people look at falling gas prices, do they consider the car overflying now? Does that become something they actually consider being in the car a little bit longer?
I think if you're a family of 5, you're looking at the cost of traveling. Airfare is one item. All these baggage fees that came into effect in 2008 are not going anywhere. And you sort of do the math. I think that the drivable vacation definitely is going to see
Where is the drivable vacation as far as how far are willing people to drive? And I guess it depends on how many kids you have in the car screaming at you.
Well, we're looking at usually about 150 to 300 miles as sort of the comfort zone, the kind of trip you can take within the course of a day, maybe an overnight trajectory. But I think that is going to be a big factor in the early part of 2015. Airlines are looking at a very slow uptick when it comes to really responding to fuel prices. Very volatile. So for them to respond immediately on something that could change in a couple of days or a couple of weeks.
Well, we have to remember the price goes down now, but they're still paying prices from the summer depending on how they hedge.
Yeah.
And that's a little, there's still a flow into the gas stations as well. That takes a little bit of time to get there.
A lot of these contracts are still in effect for another 3 to 6 months. So maybe as we head toward the summer season of 2015, we'll see a bit of a drop-off. But if consumer demand remains as strong as it is now, it is unlikely that we'll see a very dramatic drop in airfare. I think people will therefore look at things like the drivable vacation. The cruise industry will still be very aggressive in 2015. And I think the hotel industry, resorts, are in some ways subsidizing what airlines are doing, so that on the ground, at the other end of that flight, you actually are seeing some incentives. And I think that, there's a willingness to absorb some of that on the other end to allow people to maybe take a hit on the flight, but save once they hit the ground.
Okay, Gabe, thank you as always.
Sure. Good to see you.